Hello. I'm going to talk a little bit about armpits. In 2006, my first Norwegian short film was finished. It was done, editing, and all we had to do was go to Copenhagen to do the color correction. The film was called Sniffer. It was about the society where everybody could fly, but the government made everyone wear gravity boots to keep them planted onto the ground. The story follows a man named Douglas. He works as an armpit sniffer in a deodorant factory, which is a real job. Machines can't beat our noses, so we still sniff. One day he's had enough of sniffing armpits, so he removes his gravity boots and floats up into the sky, waving goodbye to his wife, wearing only a pair of blue underpants with fluffy white clouds on them. Other people see this around the town, and they, inspired by him, also do the same and float up into the sky. Soon the sky is filled with people. A cinematic moment, I thought, of collective liberation. As the writer-director, I loved that ending. It was full of hope. It showed the power of one person's courage. And at least it showed how great a filmmaker and writer I thought I was. But the universe had different plans. My ego was about to get slammed to the ground pretty hard. Me and the cinematographer went to Copenhagen to do the color adjustments and work on the final images of the film. We had never seen the film on a big screen. When we came to Copenhagen, we went into the cinema, the light went down, and my heart was broken. Because the floating people that was part of my fantastic ending of my first short film looked terrible. They looked like cut-out people blinking in and out of existence. And as I was sitting in the cinema, in the dark, watching my ending fall apart, thinking the whole film was going to crash, I almost started crying. Later that evening, when I was crying over a beer at the local pub somewhere in Copenhagen, my cinematographer leaned over, put a hand on my shoulder, and said, "Hey, Bobbie, just cut the ending. It's going to be a better film anyway." And I sat up, looked at him. "Are you crazy? Cut the ending? The ending is the whole point of the film. I can't cut the ending." But I knew he was right. It was either cut the ending or cut the whole film. So the next day, a little bit hungover, very depressed, we cut the whole ending. Now the film ended with Douglas alone, removing his gravity boots, floating up into the sky, waving goodbye to his wife, and that was it. No huge revolution of people floating all over the place. No crowd, no sky filled with free people. Just one man making one single choice. Later that day, I gave my cinematographer a big hug. The ending was much better. Some months later, we ended up in Cannes somehow, and the film won as the first Norwegian film, the first Palme d'Or that Norway had. 19 years later, it's still the only one for some reason. We're going to get there. So my lessons from this experience is that good storytelling isn't about cramming everything you can think about into the story. It's about having the courage to remove what doesn't serve the story, even if you love it. Blaise Pascal once said to a friend in a letter, "I apologize for writing such a long letter. I didn't have time to make it any shorter." That was in 1657. Today, we're still struggling with the same truth. Simplicity takes much more work and more courage than complexity. About 10 years ago, I had this great idea about a film I wanted to make. It was about a 12-year-old coding genius named William Wenton. In the story, he solves the most difficult code in all of the world. He becomes world famous, and he is immediately hunted by evil forces. The plot took him to all over the world. There were huge special effects, amazing technology, and lots of action. I was convinced the film was gonna go home with the Norwegian kids. I just had to get it made. But when I finished writing the script, I sat down to read it. I became, well, depressed again. Because it dawned on me I had forgotten to think about the one thing that all filmmakers have to think about: money. The film was much too expensive. I would never be able to make it in Norway. I was heartbroken. 6 months of my life for nothing. I was about to file the screenplay under very, very, very bad ideas when someone came up to me and said, "Hey, why don't you just write the book?" I looked at them like, crazy? Write the book? I'm a filmmaker, I'm not a novelist. But the more I thought about it, I realized that clinging to ideas, I was clinging to ideas that was holding the story back. All those locations and robots and technology and special effects, I tricked myself into thinking I needed all of that to tell this story. And they were also preventing me from telling the story. So I did something terrifying. I removed the complete medium of film from the story. No cameras, no budget, no cool locations or special effects, only me, a pen and some paper, and a 12-year-old boy. When the book was done, I sent it out to publishing houses in Norway. Everybody wanted to publish it. And the book became a bestseller. It was translated into 38 languages. It won some prizes. And it was even chosen by Norwegian children to be cemented into the cornerstone of the new National Library in Oslo, which nobody knows about. Thank you. And to top it all off, Hollywood bought the film rights twice. All I had to do was remove everything. You've all heard of Michelangelo and his statue David. Someone asked him how he could create such a perfect sculpture. And he said, "I didn't create David. He was already in the marble. I just removed everything that wasn't David." That's a beautiful idea, right? But there's a challenge. You can't remove if you don't know what to keep. You have to see David in the marble first, inside there somewhere. You have to know what you're trying to create before you can start removing anything. And that's the hard part. That's what takes hard work and courage. Because until you know, you don't know. Because when you know what you really want, you're just chipping away on the marble, hoping that something beautiful will appear. Okay, enough talk. I'm going to do something practical now. And I need 3 volunteers up here. I know we have some. Oh, there we go. Go, just come up here. Yeah, 3 people. We need 3 people. We have 7 minutes left. Thank you. Just stand in a line here. Just like here. So the cameras can see. Okay, so this is a story. This is how I usually boil down a story when I'm going to start a new one. We have, there you go, it's an animated story. Okay, so it's 3 parts. We have a beginning and we have an ending. And everything that has a beginning and an ending has a middle, of course. But a story also needs a hero, and it needs a hero that wants something. That's you. So picture you going into the cinema and the lights go down, you have popcorn, you have a drink, you're getting ready for a film. And the film begins, and there is the main character, our hero, laying in the grass with a straw in her mouth, looking at the skies and just chilling out. And we're there with the popcorn ready for action, waiting. Okay, this is interesting. 5 minutes pass. She's still laying there. Hey, what's going on? Something needs to happen. Okay, so that's why we need a protagonist that wants something. Okay, so let's say you're a cute little frog. A cute little frog that wants an ice cream. You're the ice cream. Okay, let's act it out. Remember the popcorn. Here we go. Yeah, and okay, you're a troll. I'm sorry. So the troll gets in the way of the frog and goes like, what do you want? What do you want? I want an ice cream, and then you say, no, no. And then the frog goes, oh, no. Okay, then I'll guess I'll go home. I didn't really want an ice cream anyway. And then you're in the cinema going like, what? Come on. What I intentionally left out there is, you can get up, you don't have to, that the hero really needs to want the ice cream. Let's see what happens. Here it's going, I want the ice cream. What do you want? And I say, I want the ice cream, and then you go, no. And since you really want the ice cream, you go, yes, yes. And you go, no, yes. Okay, that's conflict. That's what we were waiting for. Oh, finally conflict. Popcorn goes down, everything is beautiful. I'm not going to do it now because of time is rolling off, but I usually mix it around because we have 3 elements. We can make many more stories than one using these 3 elements. You can just wait a little bit. I'm going to jump ahead, and we're going to go to some real movie examples. You don't have to guess, I'm just going to say it. Let's see. There was a fish that went out looking for his missing kid, but the big ocean was in the way. That's Finding Nemo. There's a rat that wanted to become a chef, but he was a rat. Ratatouille. There's a teacher that wanted to provide for his family, but he got cancer. I'm sorry. It's Breaking Bad. And then you had a couple of teenagers that fell in love and wanted to spend eternity together, but their 2 families didn't want to have anything to do with that. There's a balcony there somewhere. You probably know it. So you see, this is how I try to break everything down. It's someone that wants something, and something or someone that is trying to prevent them from getting it. Thank you. Okay. Remember that ending I cut from Sniffer? Something I still think about. I think about that ending that I cut away. I really loved that ending. But there's something else I think about even more, and that is Douglas. That single man in his underpants, floating up into the sky, waving goodbye to his wife. The uncertainty in his choice and the courage it took for him to make that choice. And the reason I think that ending works so well for me is because he had one single goal: freedom. That's a goal we can understand, and that's a goal we can relate to and applaud. After the award ceremony in Cannes, when I met the jury, one of the members, Soliman Cissé, I hope I say it correctly, a filmmaker from Mali, came over to me wearing his national robe. He was in the jury, and he's often regarded as one of the most important filmmakers in Africa. And he said to me, "Thank you, this is a film about my country, my people." And that was the greatest compliment that anyone could ever give me about my film. And it made me realize something. There's universality in simplicity. This is a choice we face every time we communicate or try creating something in our lives. Do we keep adding stuff on top of each other, creating a mess, hoping that something great will suddenly appear out of this pile? Or do we have the courage to keep only what truly serves the story, our story? You can't remove if you don't know what to keep. But once you do know, please have the courage to let everything else go. Thank you.